Hello everyone. Yeah, today I'll be talking about setting up a complete Kubernetes home lab. So I've been in situations where I needed to test like new DevOps technologies, DevOps, SRE, and all of that. And of course, there'll be need to have infrastructure like virtual machines and a couple of other things. So prior to now, I've had to rely on cloud platforms to set up all of these things. And I ended up incurring costs running to hundreds of dollars. So I decided that I was going to set this up locally in my home, which would help me achieve the same results at a much reduced cost. So that's what I'll be showing us over the next series of videos, how I was able to achieve this. And I will start it afresh so that we can do this together if you choose to. So first off, I'll be talking about the server configuration and specification. So in my case, I got one of these servers, which is the Neptune series HX99G. It's got like the AMD Ryzen processor, and then it's got like 64 gig of RAM. So it's pretty much more than enough for what I need to do. And so I already have that set up, and I have Ubuntu installed on it. So if I am currently logged into it via SSH because I decided to set up like a server version of Ubuntu so that I don't have the overhead of graphical user interface, and I can maximize the computer's hardware resources. So if I look at the storage, so on that device, I have like a terabyte of SSD storage, and I have the CPU. It's running like AMD 9 Ryzen 9, like I mentioned. It's got I think about 16 CPUs. It's of course running the X6484 architecture, and yeah, a couple of threads and all of those good stuff. And then if we look at the memory, we can see that I have like 64 gig of RAM. So that's my own hardware setup. You could, of course, pull this off with a much lower configuration. I just wanted like a high-end configuration that can scale to whatever my needs would be. So like I mentioned earlier, my OS of choice is Ubuntu 2204 long-term support version. I could have gone for the 2204, but it was recently released, and I just wanted something a bit more stable that has been in use over time. So, and then in terms of my LAN, local area network, I just have like a simple local area network where I'm running a /24 network really. So it's just basically like a /24 network. And so it's basically, how would I put it now? A 192.168.1.0/24. So that's the IP ring that I'll be playing around with. And so with that, I think I pretty much, so if you're going to do this, you would of course need to get your own server. You would need to have reliable power supply because I'll probably keep it this on for the server on for the next couple of months running and all of that. So you need to have steady and adequate power supply and a good good internet connectivity. And then once you have that and a basic home, what's it called, local area network with a DHCP server would suffice. And with that, I think we'll just get it started. So just to like give us a taste of what we're going to be doing. So we would set up like the cluster, we'll use Kubeadm, and then we'll use a single node cluster because I want to have like we could as well use multiple nodes where I would virtualize this single server over multiple virtual machines. I have multiple virtual machines running on this VM, but I'll just have a single machine where I would have my cluster running, and it would also be the one that would run the workloads. And then I would set up MetalLB, which will serve as my load balancer. And when we get into that part, you would understand the reason why I need a load balancer. We would have the regular Nginx Ingress controller, which would help us route traffic to the external devices on this local area network. And I would also set up like NFS Storage Provisioner for the cluster, which will provide dynamic storage for the applications on the cluster. And then we will now dive into the good stuff, or also part of the good stuff, which will be setting up monitoring for the cluster, and then the machine itself. So we'll set up Loki for log collection and aggregation, and then we'll set up Prometheus and Grafana, all these for monitoring. We will then also go ahead and set up ArgoCD, which would help us achieve continuous deployment to our local home lab cluster. We will then go ahead and deploy a little bit more complex application which we'll talk to a postgres database out. We would have like HPA, horizontal pod autoscaler, also set up for this application, and then we'll load test this application and sort of see how the pods scale horizontally to handle the workload that will be thrown at it. So these are the things that I have in stock that I will walk through over the next couple of videos. I'll break it down so that it just doesn't get into a long set of videos. I hope you join me in this adventure, and see you in the next one. Thank you.